Welcome back to episode 2 of Vidya Mandir Mylapur's official podcast. I am Tasmai Krishnan and I couldn't be happier to have Mr. Shrikanth in our house, or rather his house as well, because he was part of the first LKG batch in 1956, an industrialist who brings 45 years of experience alongside him. And not only is the secretary of Vidya Mandir, but is also an extremely qualified professional, serving as the vice president of the Tamil Nadu Golf Federation, the secretary of the Madras Sanskrit College, the secretary of Music Academy Madras, and most importantly, the secretary of Vidya Mandir Mylapore. With regards to his educational fronts and qualifications, he has completed a BSc Physics from Loyola College and then later went on to take Vidya Mandir's name abroad, bringing more laurels to our institution by studying at the State of University New York Buffalo, completing an MBA in Accounting and Finance. Not only does he bring his prerequisites and knowledge to our institution, but today he joins us on this show here to impart all the values that he brings forward to the school. Thank you.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, rolling.
Hi, hello, and welcome back to Vidya Mandir Mylapur's official podcast. I am Tasmai Krishnan, the show host who brings you the most, and I couldn't be more elated and delighted to be joined by not only a revered industrialist, but one of our school's custodians, the longest serving secretary, Mr. Shrikanth. Sir, firstly, an absolute honor to have you on board, sir. How are you doing?
Thank you, I'm fine.
Sir, so what has been very intriguing about your journey is that you were part of the very first batch that studied in Vidya Mandir. And you were a part of the first LKG classes as well. And I wanted to know how many students were there and how was the growth change of the school and how do you see it going in the future as well?
Just a correction, I'm not the first batch. I'm the first batch that started from LKG.
Okay.
So, I started in the year 56. And we were in the year about 12 or 13 when we joined it. And by the time I left, my class was 30. And it evolved from one section to 4 sections now. And it's a huge school. At that point in time, I knew everybody in my class, in the class above, 2 classes above, 3 classes below, all the students I used to know. But now I don't think it's possible like this, you guys.
Sir, so drawing off your popularity, as you said, you knew all the students across your grades, and in second grade there was a small setback, right? Because of some unforeseen health circumstances, you weren't able to continue in second grade. But in third grade, Tara Miss, the then principal, showed you a leap of faith and asked you to continue in this school. And I wanted to know that ethos that Vidya Mandir has gone to espouse for so many years now. How has that contributed in changing your life? And holistically, how has it gone on to change so many more lives in the school, as we even heard in the first episode from our revered guest?
I think the school, at that point in time, the teachers treated us family. So, and we were children at home and not children from outside. That was the ethos of the school then. And when I went to, I missed 1 year, I had to take class, and I missed all my friends. They were all left behind, and I had to make a new set of classmates, which was a little bit of a trauma then. But then I found later in life the was just out, and I adjusted it well after.
Lovely, sir. And I wanted to ask you another question. Since we spoke about the ethos and the models that Vidya Mandir is built on, and how it has always continued to shape the students that we are today, and the students of the yesteryear who, as you can very clearly see, have gone on to become the custodians and the greats of the school, I wanted to ask you, your grandfather was one of the founders of Vidya Mandir, and today you have served as its secretary for nearly 3 decades. How has your relationship with the school evolved from being one of its first students to becoming one of its custodians and stewards?
Well, I was, of course, when I graduated from the school in 1969, I was not in contact with the school for almost 30 years because of my studies and other things. My father used to be the secretary for almost 35 years. So I just inherited his position. And I think it's a lot of, what shall I say, it's too much of a responsibility to make sure that the school runs on very right lines and the values, but values the founders have been and more installed. So we are now making sure that the school evolves in the same fashion.
And sir, firstly, that was a wonderful answer. I think, not only do you look a man of class, but I think the words that you speak also exude a lot of finesse. But another thing, because we were talking about evolution, right? From ethos, we went to evolution. Since we went from one E to another, I wanted to ask you, I had a conversation with you outside of this, and you were telling me about how you use AI actively, right? AI, artificial intelligence, in the form of Google Gemini. And at 72, usually there is this resistance towards using artificial intelligence. But I think being a VMite, I think that's one thing that we all have learned, but that is to adapt to different conditions. I wanted to understand how has the usage of AI helped you as industrialists on a personal front, and what motivates you even today to learn more, right? I think that would be something that our student community, which will continue to grow and prosper in Vidya Mandir, would benefit from really.
No, right. I think learning is something which has to be continued throughout one's lifetime. Regarding AI, my son-in-law was also a was course creator, and he works for a company in the US which makes AI. About 6 months back, he was here in India, and then I was talking to him. He was talking to me about AI. I said, I don't know anything about it. He said, better late than never. Get into it as fast as possible, others will get fossilized. So I didn't want to get fossilized. That is the reason why I got myself enrolled in Gemini, and I use it extensively now for all kinds of things.
And it's interesting that you were talking about, one of the things that I extrapolated from this conversation was how using AI today is equivalent to following the notion of the survival of the fittest, right?
Yes.
And you are an active golfer yourself, so I think that keeps you physically fit as well, sir. So I wanted to know how much of an impact has golf had on you, detrimentally, because Vidya Mandir has always fostered sports. And golf is a sport that you don't see across many schools, but you've taken it ever since the age of 6. For 64 years now, though you don't look that, for 64 years you played golf. I want to know, how does that fuel you to go back to the course every single day?
Oh, it was very fortunate of me to have started golf because my dad used to play golf. I had to know any reason why I wanted to play. But that's a game where you see people that are playing one round of golf. You can make sure with the kind of people whom we play, whether they have any values in life or not. Just one round of golf is enough. And after playing 18 holes, you can judge his character, back and forth. So that's one of the things that golf has taught me, and to be ethical, and you always give your scores. So you have to be very, very value-wise to make sure that you're saying the correct score after a game. So from all fronts, you have got to be very ethical in that game.
Interesting, sir. So we've gone from ethos to evolution, and now we've gone to another E, that is the ethics, right?
Yes.
And I wanted to ask you something about how the ethics from 1956, the first LKG batch, to now, as of 2026, what has remained unchanged about Vidya Mandir? Since we've got such an alumni that, continues to fuel the school. I wanted to understand, if you had to point out two things, probably even a solitary thing, an aspect that keeps the school grounded in its shape, what would that one aspect be?
I think that the teachers' values are being given down from the very beginning with Anand Lakshmi and Karya Lakshmi starting the school. They have set the pattern of what teachers should be like, and that has come down through various generations of teachers coming new, and each teacher who comes in has been taught the Vidya Mandir way. So they continue this Vidya Mandir style, which it still is being kept, which is, I think, very, very cool.
Lovely, sir. And before I leave now, and I have my co-panelists join me, I just have one last question that I'd like to ask you. If you could spend just 5 minutes with your 15-year-old self and walk him through the Vidya Mandir campus, what would that Shrikanth sir be surprised by? And what would you like to tell him? If you had to give him one piece of advice, what would that one piece of advice be?
The school is no more the same size as what I studied then. But everything else remains the same as far as studies are concerned. I think this is the best school you can be here in town, because there's no pressure to study whatever you want to do, and I think it's just going to be a lovely way here. So please continue your studies here, is what I would say.
Thank you so much, sir. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you. Okay, sir, now that you've answered a lot of questions with us, man, I want to deviate a little bit from academics. So Vidya Mandir gave you many things. It gave you music, it gave you table tennis, billiards, and it gave you a lifelong love for golf. So which of these experiences taught you the greatest lesson about life?
I think it is golf, because when I started golf, I never knew it was a elitist game, because I just went along with my dad and started playing. Later in life, I realized it was, but that didn't bother me at all, as I used to mix with all kinds of people, and it was a great level there, and that game taught me how to be ethical in life, because it's very important you play by yourself and you count the number of stones by yourself. And you have to be very true to yourself. If you cheat, it means that you're cheating yourself. That's what I learned. So that was a game which taught me good thing by life.
But now, like coming back to academics, you began your life with a physics degree, and then you became a chartered accountant, and then you pursued an MBA in the United States, and eventually you led your family's manufacturing business. So, like looking back, do you think that all of these decisions were planned, or like as the opportunities came, you just embraced them like that? Sure.
I think it just happened as it came. I never planned for anything because after after school, I was not sure what I'm going to do. I just landed up doing my BSc in physics. And after physics, I didn't know what I was going to do. Because my father was a chartered accountant, he said, why don't you do it? So I just joined chartered accountancy. And so life rolled on. It was more by chance than was.
I think like the chance really paid out very well. So like, but seeing that you spent your entire professional life building one business, from like being an executive director to a chairman. So like all leaders have one principle. What principle would that be for you?
It's, as I said, it's only one thing, ethics. So long as you are ethical and you're dharmic, I don't think you will fail in anything. Because my business has gone through a lot of ups and downs, and we have still carried on. So that I owe it only to our ethics.
So like as like a student in VM, I feel like one of the key features here is the love you get from teachers. So I feel like you also must be having some experience. Is there some teacher or a mentor who you met in school or anywhere in life who like played a very important role in your life?
School is the first place it shapes your life, and it starts from my LKG class where when Mrs. Charles used to be our teacher. So I still remember the days I used to love coming back to school because she was a teacher. And as you grow up, and in the higher classes, it is a lot of teachers who always had the same kind of feeling towards us. So school, definitely yes. After that, college and other places, you lose the intimate relationship between teacher and student. That's lost. So school is the only place where you have that kind of feeling.
So like recently I saw this documentary about a sense of fulfillment. I feel like you have this great sense of fulfillment from all the achievements you have done. So not professionally, but personally, over these 7 decades, what is something which you have done which gave you the most fulfillment which you can like receive?
I think most fulfillment I have had is my association with all the educational institutions where my forefathers have been associated with, because they have all been philanthropists in their own rights. My grandfather started the school. My maternal grandfather started the Samson College. So I am involved in all these things as a Purabhara secretary, trying to make sure that the legacy continues.
Okay, so for the last question, to all the VM students seeing, what is one last message you would like to give them? Like one last statement which you would like them to follow throughout their life?
Just be happy and pursue what you think you would like to work, and never ever deviate from the ethics and the one. It will take you a long way.
Okay, so that's a wrap for the VM podcast. We have Mr. Shrikanth, and I really enjoyed. I hope all of you have enjoyed seeing us, and I hope you have had a lot of fun with us, sir.
Thank you so much.
So we would like to conclude this. Signing off. Thank you.
Thank you so much.